What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm back with
Gershwan
to answer your questions in another Q&A video called
For the Greater This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. That is what the Lone Assassin Zero did. He asks, do you believe that Konrad Curze was right in standing against the false emperor? So let's break it down real quick. We'll give you a quick synopsis of who Konrad Curze is. He is the Primarch of the Night Hunters. Right?
the Night Lords.
Night Lords. Yeah. He is the Night Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born on a planet
Nostromo,
which was basically like Gotham.
Mm-hmm. We're wearing the colors.
Oh yeah, black and blue. And then he basically turned it around.
Mm-hmm.
It went from a crime-ridden planet to he brought order and justice through vigilantism.
Like, he really messed these guys up. Like, if you think Batman, is pretty bad, this guy's worse.
And then the Emperor came, he's like, no, you're my son, come battle with me. So he did, and then Nostromo went back to its ways of killing and murders and just being a horrible planet.
Yeah, it didn't quite go as well. Well, here's the thing about Konrad Curze. Ever since his inception, his birth or whatever, he's been getting visions of the future. And these visions are showing him what was going to happen hundreds of thousands of years into the future. So much so that when the Emperor came up to Konrad Curze, he already knew who he was, and he just knelt and he said, yeah, I'm going to join you. Because he knew what was up.
Yeah.
Usually, Lehman Ross, he challenges him to a fight. He's like, I don't care who you are, I could take you on. Or, it's a very difficult thing to bring in a Primarch who doesn't know they're the Primarch back into the Imperial fold, but he knew what was up. He was in the know.
And he continued to get plagued by these visions. He saw the betrayal of Horus,
mm-hmm.
And he saw how the Emperor was going to treat his Primarch's sons, which is the reason why he betrayed the Emperor and sided with Horus. Was he right in doing that? No, I don't think so. Because this is kind of like the same situation as the first Black Panther movie, I think it is.
Well, there's only been one.
Oh, really? Okay. So the bad guy in that, what's his name?
Killmonger?
Yeah, he's basically the Night Hunter. He is Konrad Curze. He was born from, what is that place? Wakanda. Separated from Wakanda to live, what was it, LA or something?
Yeah, the US, pretty much.
And then he saw how horrible black people were being treated, went back to Uganda and was like, not Uganda, Wakanda. I'm horrible at this. And then he basically wants to just take the power of whoever it is to destroy this.
Take the power of the Black Panther to become king and basically have his ideals rule the world. Wakanda's technologically powerful and they have the capability to do so, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Is he wrong?
It's hard to say. And that's the same thing with Konrad Curze. Is he wrong to say? I think it's more of the fact that if he would have been brought up under the Emperor, those visions probably wouldn't have been as bad. And the Immaterium wouldn't have been able to corrupt him in that way. Because I guarantee you those were messages from Tzeentch. And Tzeentch was plotting and scheming. Same thing with in Warmonger's side. Killmonger, there you go. If he would have been raised in Wakanda, then he would have been a different person.
I don't know. I don't feel like that's right. Because his ideals, or what he was viewing, was what would happen if the Emperor would have beaten Horus and the Imperium come out on top. But not only did he know this was not the right thing, but the Cabal also knew this. They were trying to let chaos win so that chaos can basically kill the majority of humanity. Therefore, humanity wouldn't be able to power the chaos gods, thus lowering their strength in the universe, and then they'd eventually die out.
So then you're saying that the Night Haunter is right in betraying the Emperor because he saw that the Emperor was actually just trying to survive?
Right.
Or did he see the long game? Because I do think that the Emperor has a long game.
Yeah.
And I think his long game is tied with the Alpha Legion, like as the double crossers or whatever.
Right.
So do you think that the Night Hunter knows about the Alpha Legion and the double crossing, and he sees what the Imperium is becoming, and is today knowing that the Emperor knew that that is what was going to happen? Or do you think he didn't like the fact that the Emperor was going to survive or try to survive?
As far as I know, I don't think he had any visions about the Alpha Legion, but I think he knew the end results of what the Horus Heresy was going to cause. So, with that being said, he knew that he had to join Horus in order to have Horus become, corrupted by chaos and lose, or win, but he ended up losing, which meant the Imperium was going to die a slow, painful death, thus strengthening the Chaos Gods even more. So with that being said, do you think he allowed himself to be shot down by the assassin? Because he knew the assassin was coming.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Because I think that there's a lot of mystery because there is another plot behind the plot that's given to us now. I feel like the Night Hunter, just like the Alpha Legion, where we are being told the Alpha Legion is bad. They are Chaos Warbands and whatnot. Same thing with the Night Hunter. The Night Hunter is saying, well, he survived, or he was going to kill him if he let the assassin kill him because he wanted to send a message to the Emperor. But I think if that is false, then that means that he survived just to not hurt the Imperium or hurt the Emperor later on, but to actually be part of the Emperor's end goal. Mm-hmm. Especially if he has the ability of foresight and the ability to see things into the future. That's complicated.
Yeah, I mean, this guy hated his Space Marine Legion. They were all murderers and prisoners who underwent the Space Marine process.
Yeah.
So they were just murderers who could literally go out and murder people. They would literally flay people alive and showcase them on their rhinos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. He's a very mysterious character, and there's a lot of undertones behind him. So, just because he's painted as joining the Chaos side and his Legion is Chaos and Divided, I don't think he necessarily is evil, but he was being plagued by visions. He knew what was to come. I think he knew that no matter what he tried to do, these visions were going to happen. So, it's like knowing your destiny before it happens and knowing that you're utterly powerless to do anything about it.
We need to rework the Primarch origin stories, and when we talk about Konrad Curze, it's going to be fun to actually decipher all of this and
dissect what this means, read between the lines.
Yeah. But good question. Next one. I have one from David25 Spartan. This is a question for you both. If the Emperor were to die, who can take his place? Or do you have someone you would like to see on the throne?
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say Guilliman, obviously, because he's leading the Imperium. But if you mean take his place as sitting on the throne,
it's tough because I don't think there is a psyker currently alive that can withstand the Astronomicon and holding back all the demons that are coming that are trying to come through the warp gate.
That's part of the Imperium.
Right.
Because I think when it comes to Chaos, obviously Magnus can do it.
Right.
When it comes to Xenos, Eldrad from the Eldar, potentially, because he was seen as a really strong psyker.
Yep. Yeah, but it's tough. I don't see anybody. I would love to see someone badass, like you said, Guilliman take the throne, but it wouldn't make sense.
Right.
And currently, there's nobody that is out there that's oh yeah, he could definitely take the throne.
Because as strong as Guilliman is,
he's no psyker.
He's no psyker to that level, at least. Because I think it was stated somewhere that every Primarch has some type of psychic ability, or at least some connection to the warp.
Right.
But not necessarily manifesting it into Smite or If I Could Fly or whatever.
Yep. Next question comes from Topinator. Can more Gene Seed be created? know up until the Primaris founding. Then we found out that there's this whole new gene seed that can be used up. But it's gene seed that was like back from the Horus Heresy era. So the answer is still no, but it turns out that there was a stash that was actually improved, and that is what the Ultima founding is. Yeah. Next question.
This one's by Jeff Bergstrom. Can an Inquisitor order a Space Marine around? If yes, is there a limit to how high up the ranks an Inquisitor must be in order for a Space Marine to follow his orders, such as a chaplain, librarian, captain, etc.? Yes and no. Because, I mean, Space Marines, they kind of have their own hierarchy. But at the same time, like, High Lords can order a whole chapter around, as can be seen with, like, the Minotaurs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it depends on the circumstances.
Yep.
And vice versa, too, because I think there's battles where, like, Space Marines lead, like, Imperial Guard and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, or in situations where it's like the Space Marines say, we're going to do this, and then don't say anything to the actual Imperial Guard commanders, and the Imperial commanders are like, well, if they're going to be doing that, obviously we're going to be doing this, otherwise we're going to get murdered. But yeah. This question comes from 1975 Steelers fan. We haven't heard from you in a while. Why is the comment section off on the GW videos? I was thinking about that today because I was watching the whole Astra Telepathica little announcement video, and I went down to the comment sections because I wanted to know, like, oh, I wonder what people are theorizing and about and stuff. But then it turned out that yeah, it was disabled. More than likely, it's because of trolls.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, or they're just trying to showcase. Like, they don't want to. Well, I guess they do, because yeah. I'll go with what you said.
I think it's because of the trolls on YouTube, and also because taking an extra step to actually go onto the Warhammer community and then commenting on the Warhammer community webpage, it not only does it help the page, but it also, that extra step kind of filters a lot of the trolls, which is something that Mini Wargaming has talked about. Very rarely does somebody go into their Mini Wargaming website and actually comment negative things on the website. But if you do it on or if you check on their YouTube, the comments are filled with negative comments and just trolls being disgusting and stuff like that. Just because of that extra step.
Right. It's easy. Like, the video's already playing. Just comment here.
Yeah. So just jump on over to the community website, and you can get comments, or you can see the comments of other people and start a conversation there.
Right. Yeah. Because I was gonna say they're doing this more of like a showcase to just show you what's happening, but a showcase is kind of meant to spark interest, spark conversation, get the ball rolling, so to speak. Rouse up the community so they can be more pumped up to buy these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of seems counterproductive, but at the same time, you gotta filter.
Yeah. And then last question. Do you have one?
This one is by AlexMan2020. During the war in heaven... Oh, no! My phone refreshed. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Who was it?
AlexMan2020.
We'll answer one question and you'll look for it.
Yeah, go for it.
This question comes from Careless Giver 9568. Why don't ancient dreadnoughts tell what the Imperium was before the religious dogma? They do. They awaken the Fellhand, what's his name? Bjorn the Fellhand, every time that they have one of the feasts, and he tells stories of like battles with Space Marines. But you have to remember that Space Marines don't really associate themselves with just the regular human population. And that's because of their autonomy and because they see themselves as better than humans. So to them, everything that a human does is kind of beneath them. So like if a human is worshipping the Emperor as a god, like all the Space Marine really does is like shake his head or doesn't even acknowledge the fact that that's hurting the main point of what the Emperor was trying to do. and also they know that their job is simply to defend and fight for the Imperium. They don't care about what people are doing. Kind of like military service people. If you are in the military, people can disagree, or you can hear people talking about things that you disagree with. But at the end of the day, that's their right. That's what they're gonna do. And your goal is to fight for the country that allows that to happen. Whereas with Space Marines, it's kind of the same thing. They can pray to the god, and it's foolish. But at the end of the day, the Space Marines' job is just to kill Xenos, heretics, mutants, all that kind of stuff.
I found it.
Okay.
Alex Mann, 2020. During the War in Heaven, the Necrons were pushed back to their home system before they found and made the pact with the Catan, turning them into spoopy robots, which should mean that they couldn't increase their numbers. So, how come there were enough of them to populate thousands of tomb worlds? Shouldn't they all be dead or dying? So yeah, when the Necrons, or the Necron tier, should I say, is they were a race kind of similar to that of the Tau, like at least in their looks, and they were besieged with like cancers that would kill them off really, really quick. So with disease that was killing them off, a weak body, and fighting the war in heaven, it would make sense that their numbers would be depleted to the point where, after becoming robots, they shouldn't be able to populate tomb worlds. But that's the thing about the Necrons. Their warriors are soulless robots. Like, you don't need to have a whole population of Necron tier to fill up a dynasty or a tomb world. You can just create them.
Yeah. And nanoscurps. Just regrow.
Yeah. And like they were super advanced technologically, so you can kind of combat the low population with like weapons that can obliterate stars and stuff like that. So.
And those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Remember, we do this 4 times a week. Tell your friends, and talk to your mom.
This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh 1.
And we are out.
Oh, I used to put my